Hey friends, welcome back to the Folded Note Podcast. Today's episode is one that every single one of us can grow in because whether we realize it or not, our words are shaping our homes, our minds, our relationships, and even the atmosphere that we live in daily. And before we jump into this episode today, if it encourages you or convicts you in a good way, please go ahead and send it to somebody that you love. Sometimes one small shift in how we speak can completely change the direction of our peace. Today we're talking about taming the tongue. And I don't think enough people talk about that in a real practical way because most people think about the tongue only in terms of gossip or saying something mean, but it is so much deeper than that. Your mouth reveals what is happening inside of your heart. Your words reveal what you have been feeding mentally. And sometimes frustration has been speaking for us more than wisdom has. You know those moments where you're tired, overwhelmed, you're emotionally drained, and suddenly everything coming out of your mouth sounds sharp, negative, irritated, hopeless, or heavy? Yeah, that's what we're talking about today because life will absolutely pressure you, but we still have a responsibility before God to learn how to govern our words. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." That verse is so powerful because it reminds us that words, they are not small things. Words carry weight. Words, they affect people. They affect environments, they affect our thinking, and they absolutely affect our emotions. And honestly, many people are living under the weight of words that were spoken repeatedly over them for years. That's how strong words are. They matter. And that's why we cannot afford to speak carelessly all the time just because we're emotional in a moment. Let's talk honestly here. When people are exhausted emotionally, frustration starts trying to come out everywhere. It comes out in the tone. It comes out in the attitude, in the sarcasm, in the impatience, and in the complaining. And sometimes we don't even realize just how negative we've become because we've been under pressure for so long, especially when you're carrying responsibilities daily. You know, things like single motherhood or fatherhood, finances, work, just trying to heal, or past disappointments, lack of help, emotional exhaustion. And all of those pressure builds. And if we're not careful, our mouth starts reflecting that pressure constantly. Everything becomes, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, this is too much, I'm sick of this, nothing ever changes. But I want you to listen carefully. Feeling frustration is human. But allowing frustration to constantly control your mouth, it is so dangerous. Because eventually your own words start creating the emotional atmosphere that you live in daily. I mean, have you ever walked into a home where everything feels tense? Nobody is yelling maybe, but the atmosphere just feels heavy, negative, or irritated. A lot of times that atmosphere was built slowly through words. By, people just complaining constantly or snapping constantly, negative speech constantly, fear or stress constantly. Words absolutely shape environments. And honestly, many people do not even realize how much their children absorb the atmosphere of their words. Children listen to more than instructions. They absorb tones and stress and tensions and repeated phrases. That's why we have to become intentional about creating peaceful environments in our homes. Peaceful environments in our homes, they're built partly through peaceful speech. You cannot constantly feed anger, offense, comparison, fear, bitterness, and negativity mentally and then expect peaceful words to naturally come out. Eventually, what fills the heart comes out of the mouth. That's why guarding your heart, it matters so much. What are you listening to all day? What conversations are you entertaining all day? What thoughts are you rehearsing all day? If frustration keeps filling your mind, frustration will eventually start filling your speech too. And honestly, some people don't need like a new life situation first. They need a renewed mind first, because peace begins internally. And one of the most spiritual things that a person can learn is how to pause, to not react immediately, to not answer immediately, and to not release every emotional thought immediately. Just pause. Sometimes wisdom sounds like silence for a minute, especially when emotions are high, because words spoken emotionally can damage relationships quickly, can't they? And once words leave your mouth, you cannot pull them back. That's why self-control matters so much spiritually. Not just controlling your actions, but controlling your speech. And honestly, maturity is often seen in how someone speaks under pressure. Anybody can speak peacefully when life is going easy. But can you still speak wisely when you're frustrated? Can you still respond kindly when you're emotionally exhausted? Can you still choose peace when irritation wants to take over? That is when you see how much growth has become in you. And I also want to talk about the way we speak about ourselves, because that matters so much as well. Some people are incredibly harsh with themselves, saying things like, oh, I'm failing, I'm a mess, I can't do anything right, I'm always behind, I'll never get ahead, I'm sick. And after a while, those words start affecting your confidence and your peace, your motivation and your hope, especially. You were never designed to verbally tear yourself down every day. Yes, we stay humble. Yes, we acknowledge areas that we need to grow in, but there's a difference between humility and constant self-destruction through your words. You have to speak life over yourself too, saying things like, I'm learning, God is helping me grow, I'm becoming wiser, I'm stronger than I used to be, God is guiding me. Those things matter so much. And something I've noticed, people with deep peace, they usually speak differently. They're slower to react, they are slower to explode, slower to complain constantly, and that's because they've learned that protecting peace matters more than winning every emotional moment. And honestly, one careless sentence can ruin an entire day emotionally. That's why we must become intentional with our speech. Absolutely intentional. Maybe some people listening today think, well, this is just how I am. No. Through God, people can grow. People can change. People can mature emotionally and spiritually. You do not have to stay angry all the time. You do not have to stay sharp-tongued all the time. You do not have to stay negative all the time. God can soften hearts. He can heal wounds. He can teach us how to respond differently. But we have to become willing to let Him work in us. So today, before you speak, just pause. Ask yourself, are these words building peace or are they building pressure? Are these words bringing life or discouragement? Are these words coming from wisdom or from emotion? Because your mouth is powerful. And one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself, your children, your relationships, and your future is learning how to let peace, not frustration, but peace lead your speech. Let's close today's note with a prayer. Lord, help us to guard our mouths and our hearts. Teach us how to respond with wisdom instead of reacting emotionally. Help us to just slow down, pause, and choose words that bring peace, that bring encouragement in life. Heal places inside of us that have become frustrated or exhausted, bitter, and overwhelmed. And help us speak differently over our homes, our children's, ourselves, and our future. Thank you so much for helping us grow spiritually and emotionally every day, Father. In Jesus' name, amen.